Hey, let me settle in with you for a moment. You ever walk into your setup, look at your PC, and just feel like it doesn't represent you anymore? That's exactly where I was a few weeks back. Too many stutters, too many compromises, too many moments where my own machine couldn't keep up with me. Then I switched to the Quartz i1460, and honestly, it felt like stepping into a version of my setup that finally matched who I'd become. If you're even considering this PC, you're not the average buyer. You're the type who notices micro-lags, inconsistent frame pacing, loading delays, and jitter that most people ignore. You're the kind of person who knows when a system feels right the second the desktop appears. And this one. It feels right immediately. Before we dive deeper, take a second and check the current price and stock. These pre-built units fluctuate a lot, and catching them during a dip feels like stealing momentum back. There's always that moment where you realize your older rig isn't cutting it anymore. For me, it was when I was switching between a game and a project timeline, and everything began dragging like it was begging for mercy. That's when you know, you've outgrown the compromise phase. You need a system that doesn't just run your workload, it glides through it. The Quartz i1460 gave me this sense of relief I didn't expect. Like opening multiple apps without bracing for a freeze. Like jumping into a new release without dialing settings down. Like knowing your frames will stay predictable even when the match gets chaotic. The Intel chip handles day-to-day work smoother than you'd expect, and the 5060 graphics card brings this crisp, consistent gameplay that feels more refined than raw. Daily life with it is where it becomes addictive. Binge gaming long nights without random stutters. Editing clips with multiple browser tabs running. Streaming while moving files around. Even just loading games, you notice the difference immediately from the NVMe. There's a stability to the whole system that makes it feel like your workflow finally stops resisting you. If you're watching closely, check the pricing again while you're here. These spikes and dips happen without warning, and missing the good window is one of those small regrets that stays with you for days. And if you're wondering whether you should get something cheaper, think about how many times you've regretted going budget on the one machine you rely on most. Settling always feels smart in the moment, and always feels costly later. Every time you look at weaker desktops, you'll come back to this one because you already know this is the level you operate at. The biggest surprise. How balanced it feels. Cool, quiet, and stable even when you push it. The RGB memory looks gorgeous without being tacky, and the whole build gives off this clean, confident vibe, like a system made for someone who actually cares about performance and not just specs on paper. And owning it does something to you. It sounds dramatic, but it changes how you walk into your setup. You feel like you leveled up. Like you finally bought hardware that respects your ambitions instead of bottlenecking them. Smooth enough to keep up, fast enough to stay ahead, quiet enough to disappear, strong enough to rely on, clean enough to feel premium. Only real downsides. If you're coming from a massive tower, this cleaner aesthetic might feel too minimal until you get used to it. And once you've felt this smoothness, you'll instantly notice how dated your other gear feels. Eventually you stop comparing specs and start choosing what you already know is right. This is one of those upgrades you don't delay unless you're ready to regret it later. If you feel that pull, check the current price and grab it before the next stock shift. You'll feel the upgrade from the very first session.